Welcome to the Scale and Exit Show, where every week I'm bringing amazing guests, and today is no different. I've got my new friend, Pat Hilton. Thanks for being on, buddy. I appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
So let me jump in. Let me give you guys a quick intro. So Pat, a.k.a. the Acoustic Force, is an entrepreneur, singer-songwriter, live performer, and digital content creator. He has performed to 9,500 plus people at Mandalay Bay for Grant Cardone's 10X Growth Conference, which I was there. Great performance. He's been featured in live interviews and performances with Entrepreneur Magazine and CBS San Diego News. He has toured extensively with Grammy-nominated artists and MTV stars for over 20 years and has been featured on sold-out stages at business conferences and high-profile after-parties all over the U.S. Great, man. Thank you for being on. I'm super excited.
Thanks so much for having me. I'm ready to chop it up.
Yes.
So, top 50 podcast. This is my debut in the top 50 today.
Yeah, I'm excited, man. So when I first, caught on to you when you really, and we'll get into this, did a post really kind of calling out these kind of wannabe entrepreneurs. Anybody can go stand in front of a Lambo,
right?
And do these things, right? And you're a humble guy. You were saying, hey, you know what? I'm not a millionaire yet, but right. Guess what? I was on the Growth Con stage. I know Russell Brunson. I'm figuring these things out. And
right.
You were calling out all these fakers that are living in basements and saying that they're the next guru in Lambo. So talk to me a little bit about that.
So, so I started off in production. I went to college out in Arizona for audio production, the Conservatory of Recording Arts and Sciences. I knew that the music industry and entrepreneurship were going to merge, because if you ever hear rappers, they're always talking about all these entrepreneurship type subjects, making money, doing deals, scaling their business.
Right.
And that's all the kind of stuff that we were just talking about. You help people scale businesses. So I'm trying to get around, I'm thinking in my head, okay, well, if I can learn these skills now, this is 18 years ago. I graduated high school in 2001. I'm 35 now. So I'm like, if I can learn how to run these computer systems and do audio and run live events and, help film stuff for people, 10, 15 years from now, I'm going to be way more valuable in the marketplace, because the price of gear is going down and the value of this stuff is going up.
Yeah, amen.
So these people that run businesses are going to need recordings and videos. And like we're doing, like this podcast, you've got a little podcast studio that you now run, and people need this as a service.
Sure.
And so I started putting the work in. When I graduated in 2005, I started working at a company, PRG Audio, and they're based out of Las Vegas. And we were doing Tom Petty's production, American Idol, Madonna, Elton John and Billy Joel. They did a dueling pianos tour. I mean, some of the biggest audio production in the world.
Yeah.
They're one of the biggest companies on the planet still. And so after a few years of doing that and being around these people with my personality and singing songs, because I was a musician and songwriter myself, I would take the money and book my own tours in between the tours and travel around and do this Acoustic Force thing.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And I got to a point where some of those people were like, dude, you got to quit this job and go all in.
You got to burn the ships.
On being Pat Hilton, because you're good enough at production to where if you eat some turds for a while, you'll get around the right people and you'll build a client base of people that will take care of you, and you'll be able to be yourself fearlessly. And now that's what's started to happen.
So talk to us about the Acoustic Force. What is that? And, for everybody, ton of the listeners here know who Grant Cardone is, know
Totally.
Growth Con, right? An audience. I was there, 10,000 people. You got on stage and did your thing. What was your thing? So everybody knows.
So my thing was, I'm a singer-songwriter. So I play an acoustic guitar. So I'm like a solo acoustic singer-songwriter, kind of like an Ed Sheeran or like John Mayer when he first started out, was just acoustic and a vocal,
right,
writing pop songs. But what I do is I write songs about businesses.
Yeah, Love it.
So I write songs about businesses. So I can write a jingle about, it's Judge Graham in the top 50. If you want to get big, do it with me, or whatever it needs to
love it.
be
Bring it.
to help you have a little song that people can sing along to. When they think of Judge Graham, they're singing that along. And then, you're drinking out of your Make It Happen cup and motivating people to go out and, like I say on the Guru video, do great things. Now, there's a lot of people who are really good at helping you scale your business, like Grant Cardone, or like Russell Brunson, or like, who else was on that show? Andy Frisella, Tim Grover, who is Michael Jordan's personal trainer. I mean, these are the biggest names in the game. So I'm like, if I'm going to do this, I'm going straight to the top. So I started writing songs and stuff to get Grant Cardone's attention. And he started sharing some of them on Instagram.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And then I started bugging him and his team about, you got to put me on the stage now. If you're sharing these little Acoustic Force jingles, you got to put me on the stage. You know what I mean? Because this could be huge for me.
Yeah.
And he's like, all right, man, follow up with my team and whatever. And so I start calling the office and bombing emails and, all this kind of stuff. And it came down to a point where I'm like, all right, either I'm going to meet this guy in person and close the deal, or this isn't going to happen.
Yeah.
So I drove to Vegas. My wife was due in like 6 weeks with our little daughter, who's sleeping in the other room. If she wakes up, she'll get through it. If she wakes up, she'll battle through. And we show up in the hallway of this event. My friends were there, so I bought a wristband that matched the VIP color. Yeah. And blasted through security with a wristband, closed Uncle G in the hallway. He sent me tickets, got me set up, and I performed at his event last February.
I love it. So I'm going to stop you right there for people listening, right? I mean, you took something, like you manifested an idea.
Right.
That I know I need to be here on that stage, and there was nothing that stopped you, right? You picked up the phone, you called, you emailed, you
everything.
Went to freaking Vegas, you showed up, right? I mean, the message in that is huge. So many people, they just freaking dream. They just dream all the time, and they don't take action.
How many messages does Grant Cardone get from people that say they want to do it, but they're not willing to freaking go all the way to the point where he's cornered in the hallway by somebody singing him a song, and he's like, all right, why not?
I love it. I love it, man. So now you're doing this, and again, if you follow me, I'm all about niche, right? Niche will get you rich, and I love how you're carving out this spot, man. I'm excited because we're talking now, and I'm fast forwarding. I think you're going to be a superstar in the upcoming years because you're going to own this niche, you're going to figure it out, and you're going to do whatever it takes to make it happen. And you're already starting to do that, right? So
yeah, I appreciate that.
It's going to be cool to watch the journey. But talk to me about again, what got my attention was you were in Vegas, I think recently.
Yeah, on the Sean Whalen tour.
Yeah, on the Sean Whalen tour, right?
Yep.
And you did this whole man, my Facebook is flooded with just people.
Fake gurus.
Hey, yeah, we're a guru.
We call them fake gurus, right?
And so talk about that video and what inspired you to do that and what's going on. And more or less, like part of the thing you're doing now is you're helping people grow socially. So how do you spot a fake from a real?
So my friend who I got in touch with from playing on the conference scene, his name's Corey Thompson, and he's the mother effer of mobile homes. So his niche is real estate, mobile homes,
great,
and like trailer parks and stuff.
Yeah.
And he's like real good at like doing Facebook Live. And he used to call out all these homeowners that like had no proof. Now, I'm not a real estate person, so I got to make sure I make him look good here. But apparently a HUD is a proof that you've like flipped a home or something, or like a certificate that like you own the home or did the deal or whatever. So he would call these people no HUD gurus that would go around and say they've done all these deals, but have no proof that they did the deals.
Right.
And I'm like, well, dude, you got to let me start doing your podcast just like this. We do a live audio podcast on his page now. And he hired me to do that. And so he's one of my clients, and it's blowing up because we roast all these gurus.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And so he keeps banging it into my head. Now I just grab my live and I start acting like I'm a fake guru just to be funny, just for my own entertainment.
Sure.
And all of a sudden, this stuff started blowing up. that video from Saturday night has like 5,000 views.
Right.
We were just being idiots on the side of the strip. Saw some Lamborghini, and I'm like, listen, guys, if you add value to the machine, out comes Lamborghinis.
Right.
Because a guru never mentions hard work.
Right.
Like we mentioned some names, like Andy Frisella, all he is hard work, hard work, hard work. I slept in the back of my first supplement store. I did this and this and this and this. It took me 6 years to pay for the first $50 logo we got made. That's honesty and transparency. And that's probably part of the reason why he's one of the number one podcasts. I think he is number one.
Yeah. Depending on what category he is. Yeah. But I mean, part of that is
this transparency that we're talking about.
Yeah. But what's happened is digital has created this playing field that everybody can play on now, right? I mean, anybody can go buy a microphone and can spin up a website and go take a picture and be looked as a guru. So I think the thing that caught my attention with you is it's flooded with this, and people need to do some diligence, right? I mean, it's real easy. Like, if you want to know if I'm for real or not, just Google Judge Graham.
No, that's what I did.
And like,
my friends were like, "Whoa, that's awesome! You're going to be on his show. This guy's the real deal."
But people need to look at that, right? Because there's so many fakes now that aren't real and that aren't doing these things. And it's so awesome that you called that out. And it's awesome you're owning up. Like, dude, you've accomplished some big things. I mean, you're naming some big names that you're interacting with in circles with. You were on 10X GrowthCon stage, but you're still saying, listen, I'm still up and coming. I'm still putting in my dues. I'm going to put in the work. I'm going to do what it's going to take. And that's what success is.
Right.
Right.
And it's like, you see me on the podcast. I don't just like sell a podcast system to somebody. Like, I'm on that podcast with Corey Thompson every week, the Roughneck podcast. I'm on every episode because I'm producing it as we go. I didn't just like sell him some magical podcast system. That's not good business.
Yeah.
I'm from like St. Louis, Missouri. Like, if that's your client, you need to be there every step of the way.
Yeah.
You need to put the work in. And it's just like, I think that's building this trust now and this reputation. And I was even talking to my dad, who's really a successful businessman. He's a forensic accountant.
Oh, wow. Cool.
And so, which is probably part of the reason why I've been able to survive in California on a musician's income, quote unquote, because I know not to overspend when I don't have boohoo bucks coming in.
Yeah, no,
it's just common sense to me, but maybe not to everyone else. So it's just like, he even said, I was talking to him just over Christmas, just recently, and I'm like, man, would you even describe yourself as an entrepreneur, or is that just like a fancy new term? Because he's very successful, owns multiple homes, is a partner in an accounting firm. And he's like, I would say I'm a business inside of a business. I'm like, okay, well, what, I know I'm kind of interviewing you here, and it might be kind of outside of your norm, but like, if you really had to give advice to this, if I was on a podcast talking about you, what would be the advice that you would give people? He's like, well, I mean, this internet thing, he's like, you've never seen, I don't have a Facebook account or an Instagram account.
Right.
He's like, if I sold all my assets, there's some millions there. But like, it's reputation.
Sure. Yeah, no, that's exactly.
I get hired because people trust me with their money.
Yeah, no, that's so key. I mean, it's reputation, and it's proof of concept, right? To me, proof of concept is the reputation. What are the results? What are people saying? What are you delivering, right? And so when you see these people just doing ads, but they have no proof of concept, they have no real results, and they're just suckering people into stuff. It's fascinating, right? I mean, it's the new thing is the look at me in front of the Lambo that I rented or I found in the parking lot. It's hilarious.
And that's probably why people thought that video was so funny, because I walked up to those guys and I had done the 1 or 2 little Facebook guru streams, and people were like, dude, you need to do more of those. And we got done, and Sean's like, hey, we'll meet you at the cigar bar or whatever. And I'm on my way, and I see this Lamborghini, and I'm like, oh my gosh, run up to the side of the window. And I'm like, dude, will you let me film a little, funny millionaire guru video in front of your Lambo? And he's like, yeah, absolutely, dude. He was like on the phone or something. Yeah, dude, go do it. And I get in front of the Lambo, and I'm like, guys, what you need to understand is if you want a Lamborghini like this, you need to provide massive value. Like, dude, any sixth grader can say that.
Right, right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no doubt. So, Pat, talk about now you're starting to get traction in your business.
Mm-hmm.
For the people that are listening, right? I mean, I know you do these events, you do these jingles, but you're also breaking into helping build real audiences and using digital to do that, right?
Yes, sir.
So talk a little about that, because I want to make sure we're promoting that side of it.
Okay. Well, it's just like anything else. Like, if you were hiring me to help you run your podcast, you're going to have to do the work. You're going to need a microphone. You're going to need a camera. You're going to need a space. You've got a little studio space. Like, this is stuff but maybe someone who's never done production before might not know this.
Right.
So you got to do the tools. You can't have digital content and not film it. Like, I can't film Pat Hilton and be Judge Graham.
Right.
So it's again, and that's what a lot of people will tell you, that, if you just buy this system, you're going to get 1 million followers and you're going to make it. But what they leave out is that there's a whole lot of work that comes with this. You got to get in front of the camera. You got to put yourself on the line, put your mouth on something that's real that you're offering people. You got to have a skill too.
Right.
That's actually like Gary V 101. If you got no skills, you got nothing to sell.
Right. No, amen. Yeah. And I think people got to be committed to that. Like, I mean, I use me as an example, and I mean, I'm pretty high volume content, but I'm not extreme. And I film 19 hours a month of content. Right. Like, just then you got to edit stuff. You got to take what's good. You got to, so it's constantly, I believe right now, and this is part of the reason I wanted to have you on the show, is any company right now, because I specialize in working with companies, scaling them. How do you exit? How do you grow? I believe right now, entrepreneurs and business owners, there's this new wave of personal brands.
Yeah.
So if you're going to own a company and you're the CEO, you need to also build your personal brand. And how you do that is through social, and is through content, and is through podcasting. And it's a commitment, right? Not only do you need to find a guy like you that can help make sure the podcast is good to go, that you're doing the ads and Facebook and all those things, but you've got to freaking commit to building that content.
Right. And that's the thing about it, is that I learned how to build content for myself first, got the attention of some of the big names, played the big stages first. So I'm not just saying, hey, I can help you make videos, make recordings, do this, get more hits on your page, sell more tickets to your event, and then not have proof that I did it.
Right.
Like, I'm not just, like you said, Joe Schmo in the basement. Why would you hire him for a couple $1,000 a month when he's never even done a super jump at Mandalay Bay?
Yeah.
Like, how
you've done the biggest business conference ever. Right.
Yeah. It's like the Super Bowl of business conference.
So are you playing at the one coming up with 30,000?
I'm not playing that one. And they have a whole different lineup this year. He's got Steve Harvey.
Yep.
He's got, so like Bradley, Andy Frisella, Tim Grover. I don't know if some of them are attending or not, but they're not on the lineup. So he's switching it up a little bit. Roddy Chong, remember the violin player?
Yeah.
That guy's sick. So I think a lot of people are attending, but I don't think he wants to do the same thing every time.
Yeah.
But either way, I mean, Grant Cardone's never going to get anything but props from me.
Yeah, no, for sure.
One of those guys that gets online and says, if you're willing to put in the work, a guy like me will help you. And he went way out of his way to put me on that stage.
Yeah, it's awesome, man.
Facts. That was that costed him money.
Yeah.
It's not like I brought him all this revenue during those time slots.
Right.
It costs money to do something like that. So that was a sacrifice that he made so that I could come out into the marketplace and bring some real, I know it's cliche, but value.
No, you did. And you know what's so cool? And I don't know if you feel this way, but for me, when I look at my professional career, there's all these moments, right? You remember 8 Mile, Eminem, he's in the bathroom, he's throwing up, and it's like, this is your moment, right? I mean, wouldn't you say that was a tipping moment for you, getting on stage and getting that, affirmation or confirmation, and it's pushing you towards becoming better.
Totally. And it's like, I belonged there. That's the way I look at it. Like, that wasn't just some magical gift. Like I fought for that.
Yeah.
And I fought for it and I earned it and I got the footage and whatever you call it, the social proof or whatever is all there now. But it's like, you know, Pat Hilton's been doing that since he was 15 years old.
Yeah.
That was
I think
20 years of work that manifested into that moment, you know?
Yeah. And the difference is, and I don't want to discount you, but there's probably other guys that can sing and play guitar as good or better than you.
Oh, yeah, totally.
But the difference is you were persistent. You wanted it. You said, I'm going to make this happen.
Yeah.
And for the people listening, you can't fake shit. You got to put in the work. You got to be persistent. You got to deal with failure. You've got to overcome it. But at some point, if you keep pushing, the moment will happen. And you're proof of that.
Yeah. And I mean, dude, I got to be honest. When I first moved to San Diego, like I said, I moved back home to St. Louis and I was touring around. I did stuff with a bunch of MTV people. Bam Margera is an old friend of mine. And like,
oh, that's awesome.
You know, the whole Steve-O crew. They used to like tase my ass on stage and stuff. Those guys are crazy. But again, it's just like, you know, it was a building. And I was like, all right, well, if I really want to be a businessman, but I still want to live my passion and my purpose, which is production and entertainment and all of that kind of stuff. Because as much as we're educating people, we're still engaging them and entertaining them.
Yeah.
And I think it's Billie Jean. He's a really good marketer. Yep. And he's like the 3 E's, like entertain, educate, and engage.
Yeah.
I remember watching, and that's solid information.
Yeah.
That's somebody who's real deal that everyone should be following too.
Yeah.
That guy's really, really good.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm now at a point where, you know, I played events that Billy spoke at, and it's like, that's the category I want to put myself in. Yeah. You know, those are the names I want to be around. That's the caliber of excellence I want to bring to the table.
Yeah, I love it, man.
But it's not going to just happen overnight. And like you said, I need to his systems and his implementation of systems and scaling, like you talk about scaling, it's just better than where I'm at right now. I'm still doing it out of the bedroom, as you can see.
Right. Yeah.
I don't have a studio or
I love it, man.
Yeah.
I love the you're not trying to fake the thing, the gurus you call out. It's awesome.
Right. And it's just like, this is what I got. I'm making it work. You know, baby's sleeping in the other room.
Yeah. Awesome.
I kept her up for like an extra 43 minutes because I knew she'd crash right at the right time.
That's awesome.
Because again, it's just like, dude, you got to fit in all this little stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't have a team or employees or anything. So I'm also not trying to bite off more than I can chew.
Right.
I got my 4 or 5 clients that are super good, that love what I do, that are backing me up. And those are the people I'm focusing on right now.
That's awesome.
And that's why I've started to become kind of bulletproof, is because I'm not afraid to say this stuff anymore, because I know I'm not going to lose anything. Because let's face the facts, most of those conferences don't pay people anyway.
Right.
So it's like, my mom was like, well, now be careful if you're roasting these gurus, because, you know, what if you're going to lose out on gigs? I'm like, Mom, those conferences don't pay anybody anyway. That's the whole point. They sell from the stage, then claim that they're top paid speakers.
Yeah.
Russell Brunson is a top paid speaker.
Yeah. Yeah.
$3 million.
Yeah.
He made the software.
Yeah.
I'm listening when Russell's talking.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm listening. So that's what we're trying to do. And I appreciate you having me on. It's like, there's a reason why people are listening to your show. That's because you're really out there doing it. You're not just drinking out of a cup that says make it happen and like, you know, pumping people full of sugar-coated BS that wears off in 5 minutes.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that.
And so I appreciate you having me on, dude, because as you know, I'm sure it wasn't easy for you to scale your business or whatever. You probably got punched in the mouth just as much as anybody else. You talk about Andy Frisella talks about, listen, you want to be the heavyweight champ, you better be getting ready to get punched in the mouth, because it comes with the territory.
It totally does, man. Yeah, it absolutely does. So no, you got a fan in me. I think you're onto something, Pat, and you're going to be huge. To kind of bring this to a closure, where should people follow you at and reach out to you?
Cool. So my website is pathiltonlive.com. And then you can find me on all the social sites at Pat Hilton Live. So like I said, I've been a live audio engineer and a live performer and entertainer for, you know, a long, long time, ever since I was a kid. And now I'm able to monetize that because like we talked about with the internet, you don't need a record deal. Or it used to be like, if you could get on Saturday Night Live, like as a musician, like you're going to make it. And it's just, you don't need that anymore.
Right.
We got Facebook. I made some funny guru video the other day. It got 5,000 views. There's people who pay money for ads that don't get that many hits.
Yeah, no doubt. So people can reach out to you for performances, for kind of custom song/jingles. They can reach out to help them with content, with social engagement, audience creation. Anything else I'm missing?
All of that. I categorize it as digital marketing, but anything from like video ads with songs, voiceovers. I do podcast production. So I record the podcast with you. We stream it like this on the Zoom. I can stream it to Facebook Live.
Yep.
And I have a couple of clients and references that I can, throw in there. I do stuff for Propelio. They're a real estate company. So check out the Propelio podcast. And then my friend Corey Thompson, Roughneck to Real Estate. Those are two great examples of just entertainment. I'm the voiceover guy for Propelio. So there's like 8 million different voiceover intros. They're hilarious.
I love it, man.
I'm having the time of my life, and it's only going to grow from here. And I think that being honest and transparent is the best way to build that, because there's a lot of false claims out there, these magical unicorn stories. And it's just, you and I both know it's a nitty gritty savage world out there. And it is a day-to-day win each hour, each minute. And that's the only way we're going to get there. So
yeah, I love it. Well, I appreciate authenticity. If you guys haven't, this is my new book, Mastering Recurring Revenue. It will be out in 10 or 15 days.
Nice.
If you're not already, follow me at Judge Graham Business is my business handle. Everything else is at Judge Graham. And Pat, it was amazing. And as always,
thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, make it happen, brother.
Yes, sir.